voice sounds like a mix of Emma Roberts and Emma Stone. Yes, 100%. Welcome back to the Stephan Show. My name is Graham, and welcome to my show. And lately, I've wanted to get back into the good old days of YouTube when people were making mistakes, they were spending money left and right. They would get me so angry at how much money they're wasting. And you know what, today, we just don't get those videos anymore. It's not like it was back in the good old days of YouTube. But thankfully, there's something that fixes all of that. It's basically the equivalent of a time machine, and it's called the search bar. That's right, guys. I searched for some really good videos, and then this one came up, and I realized I've never seen this video before. It's called How This 30-Year-Old Burlesque Dancer Living in New York City Spends Her $50K Income, wait for it, glamour. This is what we've all been waiting for. Right after, of course, we destroy that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and it's officially destroyed, and we get our free stocks down below in the description because Webull is going to be giving you 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 on the platform, and that's pretty much free money. So if you like free money, use that link down below, get those 2 free stocks, let me know which ones you get. And now let's begin the video.
I'm 30 years old, living in New York City. I work as a burlesque dancer, and I make $50,000 a year.
I'm kind of confused. Burlesque dancer, burlesque. I swear I'm not making this up. Burlesque dancer. I think that's when they dance with clothes on. Oh. Don't Google that, guys. You don't need to Google that. So it's dancing with, what do you want to say? Just, I don't even know what to call this, because there's some that they have a lot of feathers. It's just imagine the feathers of like a flamingo on a person. We got one here. We got yeah, lots of different birds here play into this, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So she's dancing like that.
I have about $14,000 in savings. After taxes, my take-home is $3,333 a month.
It's weird because just it doesn't seem like what she's talking about syncs up with this actual image here, because she's like breathing in. You could see her breathing in as she's talking. And as we all know, that's physically impossible. Like, look at this. Hold on. Look at this.
$1,000 in savings. After taxes, my take-home.
It's physically impossible for you to breathe in and talk. Try it. I'm gonna cry the dog. That's what it would sound like. Jeez.
$14.95 a month goes to rent. $270 goes to motorcycle payments and insurance.
Wow. So let's look at that. $3,333 exactly a month. That's cool. We got rent. $14.95. I would say the rent might be maybe a little on the high end. I mean, she could probably get it down to more like $1,000 living with a roommate in New York City. I've seen some other people do this in other honest accounts, so I bet she would be able to do that too. But then you could tell, here, look at this. We got a motorcycle payment with insurance, $270 a month. Wow. I think that makes sense. I think in New York City, having a car, it's parking, it's a bunch of traffic. If she could just zigzag everywhere, she's probably getting anywhere she needs to way faster than she would have otherwise. So this could actually be pretty good for her. Utilities $150, not bad. $20 for a gym membership, not bad either. So $1,400 to spend. That's where this is going to get good.
I have $0 in credit card debt and $45,000 in student loans.
Does that just not compute to anybody? What did she study? What did she study that's $45,000? And dance? Does it cost that much to learn how to dance? I hate to say it, that was probably a waste. Student loans, $45,000. That's gonna be hard for her to pay off too. That's a shame. That one I think is a shame.
So the payment I receive per night varies from $100 to $500.
Wow, that's not bad. That's not bad. And the crazy thing is, I bet she's making more doing that on a night than so many college-educated people would make at like a normal 9-to-5 job with benefits and a 401k, and she's just like cranking these away every night.
If I'm producing the show, then I make the profits from the ticket sales after I pay everyone. But if I'm just hired as a burlesque performer for someone else's event, it's like a flat rate, and then you'll get tips on top of that. If you split them from like a tip bucket, it's like $30. But if I dance in like a go-go set, where you dance in between acts of a show, then people come to you and tip. So I've had people that tipped $100 during like a few songs just from one person. You get paid more if it's a corporate event rather than just like a show in a bar.
You know what? I like her honesty about all of this. She's pulling back the curtain. It's something that I'm sure a lot of people are curious about. How do they make money? How do they get paid? Where do they make the most amount of money? It's good she's being honest about it, being totally upfront about like, hey guys, here's how I make the money. Here's where I make the most. Here's where I make the least. This is what corporate events. People doing this at corporate events?
Here's my last statement. Venmo payment, $77. I believe that is for a new costume I'm commissioning.
Of course they take Venmo, because right now Venmo has not found a way to like accurately issue 1099s. It's like, what's considered income, what's not. So like everyone's like, hey, just Venmo me. If they're getting paid in a service with Venmo, most likely that's as good as cash. Like that's probably not being reported. Probably.
I have about 15 costumes. I'd say a costume costs on average about $500 to $800.
$500 to $800 for a costume. You could go to like the Halloween superstore. What is it that the Halloween store that pops up every October? It just shows up randomly. There's like 100 of them per city, and then they disappear on November 1st. Go to one of those, like $90 for the same thing.
The funny thing about burlesque is that you spend so much on each costume that you have to do so many shows to pay that costume off. But at the same time, that's how you're booked, and your reputation as a professional is also linked to like your costumes.
I get that. So that's like a policeman getting a police uniform, a firefighter having his firefighting uniform. With her, it's getting this very just over the top dress. I bet she could just start learning how to do these on her own and just make her own dresses for a fifth of the cost.
Square, $241. Square, $204. Square, $154. Those are all tickets for shows. People would pay at the door and use my Square reader, so that goes directly into my account each week.
Oh, that's cool. Those are deposits. That's nice. That's cool. Okay, I like how they separate out the deposits and the debits. They don't do that for some reason in the newest episodes. This is what they should be doing. Get back to this.
Venmo cash out, $165. Those are tips from the show. Instead of just taking cash in a tip bucket, I started putting my Venmo account on tip envelopes so people could pay cash or use Venmo if they didn't have cash on them.
Oh, that's so smart. Who carries cash anymore? Very few people now carry cash. Everything is Venmo, PayPal. Like one day we're gonna have these glasses that we're gonna wear and we're just gonna make eye contact. And depending on how long you make eye contact for is how much money is transferred. So eventually it's just gonna be like that.
Harley Davidson bill pay, $204. So that is paying off my motorcycle. I think it was like a $13,000 motorcycle and I got it for $11,000.
Not bad. I think with motorcycles too, they still depreciate as would any vehicle, just like a car would. But at least she's able to get a bit of a discount on there, and it's probably still cheaper than a car.
26 stars, bill.com, $200. That is a payment for performing at Lavo, New York. Groupon, $118. I set up a Groupon deal for my show in Memphis, and those are cash outs from that.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of these, just like little deposits here and there. These are pretty much, at least right now, are as good as cash until at some point, I guarantee it's gonna start getting regulated and they're gonna start reporting, hey, X amount was transferred from this person to this person. We're gonna show the IRS now this is how much they got, and then it's gonna be up to her to calculate how much of that is profit, how much of that she needs to pay tax on. Eventually, it's gonna get to that.
Lyft, $13. Lyft, $11. Lyft, $13. I hate to see how many Lyft and Uber rides I take.
The lifts. Okay, the lifts. She could also write those off as business expenses. Most likely, if she's lifting to and from an event or something she's going to. So that could make sense depending on the situation. It might not make sense for her to ride her motorcycle down there. So maybe. Those are maybe justifiable.
General Nutrition Center, $44. So I eat a lot of Quest bars for breakfast and dinner sometimes. I have a recurring payment where they send 2 boxes of s'mores Quest bars to my house.
Those are pretty good, and I have to say, lately I've been doing the Cliff bars. Those are so good. For breakfast, it's like 99 cents for a nice little... I swear, what happens every morning, I sit down at this desk, I start working, and I pull out a Cliff bar with a coffee. That's my breakfast. This holds me over until about 2 p.m. Then I eat a lunch, and then I'll eat like a late dinner. But those things are so good, and for 99 cents, fills you up, gets you going in the morning for like a solid 6 hours.
Kroger, $53. I bought food for the week. I would keep snacks in the apartment for the other performers and myself. I mostly get produce, vegetables, and hummus and fruit and just kind of put it on a plate. I don't usually cook.
Why is there nothing wrong here? There's really nothing here so far that I can criticize so far besides the student loan debt. I wish she would go into more detail about that. We have 2 minutes left, so I hope she explains herself on that. Her spending is actually all reasonable and business related. It's oddly too business related.
Charles Miller, MD, $100. I was considering getting LASIK eye surgery, and that was a deposit for that. You know, the funny thing about that is I really want to do it, but the requirement for surgery was for 2 weeks after you're operated on, you can't wear makeup. So as silly as it sounds, that was like a deal breaker for me because that means 2 weeks off of work.
Wouldn't they just tell her that before she paid the $100 deposit? Wouldn't that be just something where, like, hey, you're gonna have to take 2 weeks off. You don't need a deposit to do that. We'll just tell you up front. That seems silly to pay a deposit and then just be like, well, you can't wear makeup. Oh, okay, fine, I'm not gonna do it. It's a waste of $100.
I would say my advice for women looking to get into burlesque is to go to shows and introduce yourself to producers. Take classes at the New York School of Burlesque. That's how I started.
New York School of Burlesque. Maybe that's what it is. New York School of Burlesque. Look at that. It's got 4 Google reviews, 5 stars. Let's see. Is there a cost of this? Okay, so they're doing online classes now that are like $15 to $50. Yeah, $50 for like the whole package. Yeah, there's no way. This is 45. Why'd she study for 45 grand? We want to know. Let's keep going.
I think people are surprised to hear that there's such a business side of burlesque. You have to really utilize your business sense to make any money from it.
All right, so listen, good episode here. She's actually not making that many mistakes, but the student loans are really weighing her down here. And so what I do, anytime I finish a video, I go down to the comments section, and the top comment, I agree with it. Her voice sounds like a mix of Emma Roberts and Emma Stone. Yes, 100%. This could have been Emma Stone behind here. We just would have no idea because we can't see the face. And then this next one is also very true. I have $1,398 to spend, has $45,000 student loans. Whoa, look at this, look at this. Graham would be furious. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. And then we got this one, Madeline. Is she gonna pay off her student loan debts? Makes me wonder what she majored in. Yeah, she doesn't even budget her student loans. Making $50K in New York City is like making $12,000 a year anywhere else. The series needs its own channel. All those business-related expenses, I wonder if she itemizes on her tax returns. I bet she is. She has to. So here's my thinking on this. They're leaving out a big component on this. I think she didn't factor in like health insurance, didn't factor in quite a few things related to her student loans or maybe other little things that might come up. How much money does she invest? How much money is really left over at the end of the day? A lot of these things we just don't know. Now, my thinking is this. Student loans, that's atrocious. Her making $50,000 a year with $45,000 of a student loan. She's got to get that paid off because otherwise what's going to happen, those student loans are going to keep going up at like 5 to 8% a year. And before she knows it, that student loan is going to be 60 grand, 70 grand. And maybe there's a point where she'll just not be able to pay these off. So that's my biggest concern there. But as far as her spending, it's all reasonable. I think now she just has to get her income up. I think that's all it is, to get this from 50 to 80, save the difference, knock out the student loans, invest the difference after that's done, and then she's golden. And then she's fine. But she's got to get this income up from 50 to 80. That would be my recommendation, as though it's just easy to be like, okay, I'm going to make $30,000 more. But otherwise, there's no crazy spending. It's just crazy student loans. And for the most part, everything else is fine. Oh, and one other thing. She didn't mention here about getting her 2 free stocks down below in the description, but funny enough, you would be able to get those 2 free stocks too. Just go to the link down below in the description and Webull is going to graciously give you 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 in the platform, with those stocks potentially worth all the way up to $1,600. It's free money. Do you like free money? Yes? Use that link down below and let me know which 2 free stocks you get. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to destroy the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Also, feel free to add me on Instagram. Posts are pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add me there, as in the podcast, The Iced Coffee Hour. New episodes being posted every single Sunday, so make sure to add yourself to that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.